So this is the second flush of shiitake. I think I got that. The first flush was between those two logs up there. And then this was the oyster mushrooms, which we had 2 flushes and that was it. I don't know what's going on right here. Who's growing on this log? Both ends of it. And there's a little bit of stuff going on. That log is also inoculated. I don't know what's growing down here, but I'm guessing some other fungi decided to take up residence, and it inhibits the growth of the intended mushroom. There was a little flush right here. I don't know what that was. Anyway, that's interesting. That's the only thing I ever noticed from... Actually, there's a second one right there. And I didn't see them when it happened, so I lost them, but okay. I got a rooster up there. I thought it was a hen, and he's learning how to crow. However, he crows at night. Silly chicken. Then we have, sorry for the camera fan, pawpaw trees inside each one of these hoops. This one's doing good. A little droopy. Maybe needs some love. This one also got growth in this one. However, these two, that one and that one, no life. Doesn't look like. Peaches. The peach tree's been doing really good. It was covered with fruit. However, the squirrels and apparently some bugs, there's holes in the fruit. What's left, there's not much left. This tree was covered in peaches. So we have some tending to do there. The blackberries, these are wild. They're doing really nicely. It's time to start picking. Actually, I think the density of ripe fruit is lessened from yesterday because probably birds. But that's nice. That was here. Got some raspberries growing right here. That pot's full. Tomatoes. Tomatoes are finally coming on. I am so late in the season with the tomatoes. The squash got eaten up by some kind of bug. Got a little bit of lettuce going on and some cucumbers down there. They're looking a little yellow. Maybe need some nitrogen. And then over here, here's a volunteer potato and another volunteer potato right here that I already healed it. And then there's 3 varieties of raspberries here in this whole group. And each one is an early, one's a mid, and one's a late season. So there's 5 of each of those, so that we should hopefully have raspberries for a extended period of time during the growing season. I know, don't judge me for my weeds. There's a lot of them out here. I've been on the road. Anyway, getting down to that, we've got collard greens and kale. And we have chicory and endive and rudbeckia. And then here's a volunteer Matt's Wild Cherry tomato plant. And I'm not sure last year where this volunteer tomato is coming up right now. I had Rutgers tomatoes planted there, but that doesn't mean that's what it's going to be. We'll see. This is spinach that it went to seed and kind of let it lay over and do its thing. I'm going to till that in and enrich the soil. I got a little patch of corn. I planted a seed tray in the early spring, late winter, early spring, and only a handful of them came up. I'm not sure why, so I just threw them there in a little spot. And then these are the remaining onions that were planted, and I left them so they'd go ahead and go to seed. And look at this. You know, some people say, you know, they're going to seed, it's a big problem, blah, blah, blah. Well, this thing is, I don't know, it's baseball size, and it's going to have a whole head of seed on it. And that onion is just as good to eat as any onion that doesn't go to seed. And then I got this guy. Look at that. Beautiful little plume. And it's not that very big. Maybe a little bigger than a golf ball. So, anyway, they all do different, but these guys are all making seeds. So, August, September, somewhere in there, I'll start these. Probably direct sow this year, and then thin them out and let them run out through the winter. What else? These banana trees got to go. They're taking up my whole terrace. Doug, my buddy Doug, planted these here, and this was a tomato terrace several seasons ago, and then I just brought down all this big rock and kind of make another wall right here. And all these banana trees got to go so we can grow food, because these bananas do not produce food. They're just ornamental. This is a vegetable garden. Come on. All right, so up here we got zucchini. The zucchini's finally starting to take off. Looks like we might have a weed pretending to be a zucchini. All right, there needs to go away. It's interesting how the weeds grow to mimic the plants around them to hide themselves. Got some, except for those guys, crabgrass going on. But these lettuces are doing pretty good. I planted in between the garlic, and they're starting to get a little size on them. Yep. These green butters right here look amazing. Look at that. Isn't that thing beautiful? Here's some more. The red butter. I find it interesting. Okay, so we have 3 kinds of garlic planted through here. German hardy, German red, and I forget the third. And then over here in February, I was in Montana and went to a grocer. They had all local sourced foods there. Very nice place. And they had these massive elephant garlic. So I grabbed 3 cloves and brought them home with me. And man, you really can't even see them with all these weeds in here. You know, I'm just been on the road. It's all neglected. But anyway, that's a beautiful specimen. I'm really looking forward to seeing. They don't look as robust as I was hoping they would look. The stems are kind of thin, and with an elephant garlic, I'm thinking the stem ought to be a little bit bigger. So anyway, I guess that's it in the garden. Oh yeah, it's not. I got 1 pepper plant right there, and that is a jalapeno. Doesn't look great. And then here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. 14 pepper plants, completely overgrown with weeds, that are of 3 or 4 different varieties. Look at this. This is 2 different kinds of thyme. This is kind of interesting. Look at those beautiful little flowers. I had no idea. Like a little daisy. And then this other thyme, one is winter thyme, one is German thyme. And this one has these little delicate little, I don't know what they are. Totem poles. And then these are the blossoms on parsley. So this parsley is getting close to seed. So I have parsley, 2 different kinds of thyme, and up in the game room I've tied off a bunch of bok choy that I let go to seed. And so I'm going to be collecting those seeds soon. I'm looking forward to seeing overall these zucchini look really good. It's really late in the season. My tomatoes are way behind zucchini, cucumbers. But, you know, I guess that's the way it goes on a farm. Get it done. Look, somebody neglected to mow. By the way, I mow with a push mower and do these rows in between the terraces, and then I'm bagging it to collect all the seeds from the grasses, and still I end up with a bunch of weeds in the garden beds. But imagine if you just took a weed eater in here and just went after it. You'd be just like setting seeds everywhere. So the effort's being put in. Mother Nature is quite interesting. So that's about that. We just got chickens everywhere. These are the arborvitae that I started from some cuttings, actually 3 of them. And then these 2 were gifted to me. And so just got those in the ground. Getting ready to plant this hydrangea that I picked up from one of the properties we had in Savannah. It was tucked on the back side of the house under a tree canopy, and I mean, it looked like it had been trampled by dogs constantly. It was just beaten up, and it's such a beautiful plant now. I think I'm going to move it here, and then right here in the corner of the sidewalk and the patio, I want to plant some kind of fruit tree, maybe a plum. I like that burgundy looking leaf on the plum. And then I just recently planted this Professor Sargent red camellia and its twin sister right over here. So hopefully we'll have a nice plume of red flowers, and we'll have a screen across here of arborvitae with a little soft texture from the hydrangea and fruit being bared right here on the side of the patio. The rest of this along here, I think I'm going to do maybe some kind of a boxwood hedge, and it has to stop where this pot is, so I always have access between that shovel right there and right here to be able to back a truck full of manure, whatever. Honeysuckle all mixed in with that Nandina, so it's Nandina and honeysuckle. Great screen from my trashy redneck backyard carport montage and part of the shop. So I think I need to kind of start training this to grow more level and shape it up, but at least you don't see what's behind it. That's the most important part. So let's see, what else can I show you? So I planted these, one of my absolute favorite. This is a fragrant tea olive, osmanthus, and I planted this one. This is the first thing I planted on this property, and then there's one right here next to the stairs, and then there's one way over there on that front corner of the house. So I planted those osmanthus to get that fragrance in the, what is it, late fall, early winter, and then late spring, or late winter, early spring. Beautiful fragrance. Then here is 25 asparagus plants. This rose was here. I don't generally plant something in my garden that bites. That's kind of a rule of mine, sort of. Sometimes I deviate, but anyway, that's the plan. This one was here. Got some different irises that I've pulled from different properties. And then these are some amaryllis that I bought several years ago at Home Depot at Christmas time. And I've basically kept them out of the ground in a pot and moved them into the shop, into the garage, outside, inside, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, it's cool because they're making seeds now. So I'm going to try. And I looked into stratification of them, and you don't need to do that. It's best to harvest the amaryllis seeds immediately and plant them because they're a tropical plant, and there is not a cold cycle where they do best. Interesting fun fact for the day. This spirea, this thing, absolutely gorgeous. I got it trimmed up pretty tight right now, but it makes these long trains of white bouquets, white with a yellow pistil flowers, and in a storm, and that thing's rocking, and it's all, it's kind of like a willow or weeping, some type of a weeping plant when you let it grow out and train. I'm trying to regain this area, as you can see, with the ryegrass that's fading out now from chicken destruction. Those chickens are just like, this whole area used to be nothing but clay, dirt. They completely destroyed it and ate everything living. Anyway, it's getting better. So, let's see. Let's go this way. Go around the front. So we got the asparagus there. Really love that. And then I got this weed in the back that I actually brought from Cartersville from a house and transplanted it. And it's bad. It's so invasive, and it's kind of like mint. So I highly recommend that you don't do that. It does make a nice little blue flower. These ferns have been here since I first moved here, and they look really good too. And these are, I think these are tiger lilies. I had some hostas in here too, and the tiger lilies have never produced a flower yet, because if you look at them, the deer have been around here wearing them out, so they don't ever get a chance. I got this new volunteer Nandina. I'm hoping and expecting it is its parents' version. The Nandina that are over here is a completely different variety. They're more like a shrub and a low grower. These, you can see, they actually get a pretty good stem on them. Oh yeah, there you go. So that'd be nice to bring out here and maybe move it out and plant it further out so it kind of mirrors the other side of the firebox. This was a thornless blackberry that was gifted to me from Deb and Joel, and kind of a housewarming gift. Here's the other osmanthus. I have this flagstone I've been moving around a bunch. I don't know. I was gonna try to finish this sidewalk out here with it, but there's really not enough of the material. These are climbing red roses, which I just pruned them all back, so hopefully we'll get another flush of flowers. Last year, October, I bought these mums, and they're trying to do something. We'll see what happens. Same thing here. This is more of a pinkish white climbing rose that I moved from this desolate spot over next to my garden shed, and it was just maybe a foot high and nothing to it, and it really enjoyed moving here. This is a pink, and this is a white peony, and a little bit of I guess that's Bermuda, not really sure, some kind of grass, little vines, so get those out of there. And then this is a paper flower or paper bush. There's another name for it that I can't remember. I got this at a plant sale at the Horse Arena in Gainesville in 2024. That was a really interesting event. This is a Japanese ornamental Japanese peach, and it's probably planted at the time when this house was built, and it's really fat and gnarly and kind of starting to show its age. I need to get in here and do some opening up of this canopy and let it breathe a little bit. It's got some right here mistletoe growing on it, which is a, it's a predator plant, if you will, or it's an indicator of disease. So all these pines, I loved cutting around them and leaving them all standing. These young pines. That one's a pretty specimen there. I don't know if you can see that. Let's see. Yeah, look at that. He's got some beautiful shape. I dug all this up when I did the patio and trenched and brought in gas line right here to put in a gas stove in the kitchen. And I'll probably put a gas propane slash gasoline generator between the AC units. For now, it's the robotic LiDAR lawnmower, which has not had its maiden voyage yet. Rhododendron here looks like it's doing phenomenal. It's very, very, very happy. Time to feed it. See a little yellowing going on. I don't know what this prehistoric plant is that's growing here. I have no idea what this is. But it's cool. It's got this long burgundy, purpley colored stalk. It's working on a flower. But yeah, it's pretty interesting. So I've let it grow here. What's up, girls? Bird, get off the deck. Bird, get off the deck. Thank you. It's not a poop deck. This is a patio where we don't poop, but we rooster all day long. He's starting to get his lungs now. He's starting to sound like a rooster. He hasn't figured out what time it is, though. It's bedtime, buddy. Not wake it up. Get your clock set 180 degrees. Anyway, the little girls are up in the coop. For some reason, they don't like mealworms and they don't want to come out and play. They just want to stay in the coop. And these ladies just want to get outside and play. Eat the larva of, what do you call them? Japanese beetles. I haven't had but a handful of Japanese beetles in 2 years since I got chickens. And they were just ridiculous here prior to that. So, if you got a Japanese beetle problem, you need some chickens. That's all I can tell you. Solve that problem. Yep. He's only been crowing for a week. Hadn't heard a peep out of him since I first got him. All right. More later.